Hi, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever you want to call it. Hi, my name is Juliana, and I'm going to be describing basically my dance experience and what I've experienced through dance. So the first question was describe your experiences with dance throughout your life. Consider various contexts such as personal enjoyment, formal training, and social setting. Okay, so I've done majorette dancing only, and that is something that I wanted to go to college for, but I lost my flexibility. I stopped stretching and I kind of focused on school more, so my grades won't fall, and I just stopped having time for practice basically. So that's why I quit and I stopped. But if I had a choice to go back, yes, I would go back into majorette dancing. I loved it. It wasn't bad. I had great coaches. I learned a lot of things. I learned how to stay flexible. I learned how to maneuver when it came to like bucking, or like doing like a handstand, maybe like a back bend walkover, front walkover, things like that. So like, you know, I would get back into it. I really would. It was actually an experience and I loved it so bad. It wasn't bad at all. But describing my experiences with dance throughout my life. So it really started when I was a little girl because I was into Shake It Up, Cece and Rocky. I always thought that I was Cece anyway. I watched like Lemonade Mouth, High School Musical, Camp Rock, stuff like that. So that's what got me into dance. And I started like hip hop dancing when I was a little girl. It never really crossed my mind to do majorette dancing, but when my mom put me on my first dance team ever as a majorette, that's when I learned how to do a split. I learned how to do a split, both sides, my right and left. The training for that was I actually had to step out of my comfort zone and I had to at least try. It was easy only because it was like a heel that I could stretch on, and like basically it was a stretch to where someone's holding your hands and you're literally like sliding down on your own. And that's what helped me get my split. And I was also on a heel, so the leg that was bent, it was like the heel would help it stretch out. So that's how I got my split, and I was very excited, and it was so cool, but it was so painful at the same time because I'm just now getting into this flexible state and I didn't know that my body could do that. So it was just that was very crazy. Consider various contexts such as personal enjoyment, formal training, and social setting. The social setting was very great because I've already known some of the girls that were, on the team. We joined together and we went to like elementary, middle school, and then, going into high school with that group. That's how, we knew each other already. So we just kind of came into a group, and then I broke away from them. The dance team shut down because of like some consequences, moved on to another dance team. That social setting was actually great. And that's when I learned how to do my heel stretch. The training that I had for that was basically I had to stand against the wall. Somebody's pushing my bent leg back towards the wall while I'm stretching the other leg. And that was very painful as well. But thankfully, we made it. We got the heel stretch and it went amazing. It went incredible. I loved it. I would do it again because that actually helped me a lot. What also helped me was the fact that I knew how to do a split. So the leg that I used to do my split was the easiest for me to pull up. So all they had to do was straighten out that leg that was bending. Once I started doing that, I learned how to twirl in leg extension. I learned how to do a leg extension into a split. I learned how to do a lot of various of things. Also, straddling helped me as well. And I also got my middle split the second dance team that I was on. I got my middle split and then transfer over to the third dance team and my last and final dance team. I've learned more, and the training for that was a lot of exercising. We practiced at the stadium, so I would run up and down stairs. We would run around the stadium. We would do jumping jacks until we couldn't do jumping jacks anymore. We would always do cheer jumps. We were always holding planks. We were always holding a straddle position because he wanted us to have middle splits and he wanted us to be extra flexible. We did splits on both sides. We would hold it. We would hold a leg extension on with both legs. Even if your leg was not flexible, like whatever leg that you were flexible with, okay, cool. But if you were not flexible with that other leg, you had to lift it until you could leg extend with that leg that you could not leg extend with. It was so much training I went through when I was on my third dance team, but it was also awesome because it taught me how to prepare myself for things. So like, it's just kind of like a motivation, like, you know, don't say you can't do something because you can do it. Not only that, it also taught me to never give up and to keep trying. So even if I didn't get it the first time or the second time or the third time, I was going to get it on that last go round when I was ready to get it. So my third dance team was actually the best dance team I've ever been on. And if I could go back, I would, but because I'm older than everybody now, that's not a possibility and that's not a choice, or I don't have a chance. But the training went very well. I had a little scrapes, a little bit of bruises, a little bit of that type of stuff, but I think we all have that when we dance, right? So it was normal, like a lot of sore muscles, a lot of strained muscles, a lot of pulled muscles. I had to deal with a lot, you know, an ankle fracture. It was just very bad. But my training was very intense. The training was very intense. Yes. And the enjoyment was the fact that we all got along. So even if we messed up, we could still laugh at it at the end of the night when practice was over. We were like a family. We had team bonding. We would have sleepovers. We would go to competitions together. While we're getting ready, we would all practice with one another. We were always going to each other's houses to work on the dance before the day of competition. We always had like little parties, like little appreciation parties, like, you know, well done parties, good job parties. We will always bond when we had that 30-minute break. We will always bond. We'll go sit on the stands in the stadium and we'll talk about what we need to work on when it comes to dance and what we need to work on within ourselves as people. So the social setting was very great for me, and I got along with both of my coaches as well. They were great and they were phenomenal. So social setting, that was, you know, my involvement in social dating, in social dancing, clubs, weddings, parties, really my style of dance would have to be hip-hop. I'm a hip-hop girl, so like I love, you know, to two-step and to wobble and to, you know, do all the family dances, little cha-cha slide here, little walk. So, you know, Running Man, so that would be my type of dance. Honestly, I've been in the club but can't really dance in the club. At weddings, I get down. Invite me if you want me there. I get down at weddings. Weddings are great. I do TikTok dance. I TikTok dance sometimes. Sometimes I post regular videos, but I do TikTok dance, and that's probably the only social dancing. And yeah, that's probably like the only thing. My favorite music is R&B. I love R&B music. I love church music as well, gospel music. I also praise dance too. I praise dance like maybe twice. So praise dancing is also within me as well. And it's not very much training you need to do. You just kind of have to work into emotions, because when you're praise dancing, you have to give that glory to God, and you have to really tap into your emotional side when you're praise dancing. So praise dancing is something that I would consider doing again as well. It's very soft, and it just makes you feel like you're home, you know? Like praise dancing is very great. Religious costumes, share any experience where dance has been part of religious costumes for you or someone, you know, explain the context. So as far as religious, like I said, I grew up in church, so I praise danced often here and there. The costumes that we would wear would be all white. Sometimes we'll paint our face white. Black gloves, sometimes white gloves, and you know, the face paint. That's probably my only religious experience with dance, but the costumes were the costumes when praise dancing is very like silky, and you know, it has that, I wouldn't say ballet type, but it kind of does, kind of doesn't. Kind of like dress like, you know. But the costumes that I've had while majorette dancing, we would have like, you know, little shaky shakes on there, a lot of diamonds, sometimes a lot of like, just like a lot of shimmy, shimmy, shaky, shaky. I don't know what they're called, but you get what I'm saying. It's those types of costumes. So that's when I majorated all the time. I also was a cheerleader, but if you want to consider band dancing, we were in our cheer uniform, so that those were technically our costumes if you want to count that. Cultural connection. Describe how dance is connected to your cultural traditions and family practices. Note and specify dances or traditions that are significant in your culture. So a lot of hip hop dance, because my mom and my dad, they dance a lot, and they used to have like dance battles in the house, so it kind of just like drawing me into dance, and I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do this. And until this day, when I see them and music comes on, we go crazy. We go crazy. We love to dance, we love music. And some of my family actually prolonged in it as well, and is in school for it. So, you know, my cultural connection would be praise dancing and just dancing around the house with my parents. We do listen to like a lot of Jamaican music, like a little reggae. We do know how to Jamaican dance. You know, it kind of consists of like whining and everything like that. So like we Jamaican dance, and that's cultural as well. So family practices, no, I honestly just taught myself how to dance. If it is something that I did want to learn, my dad or my mom would teach me. So if you want to consider that practice, that could be considered as my practice. Learning through dance. Reflect on whether you have learned about religion or culture, either your own or others, through dance. That is a very great question. I learned about dance through religion actually, because like I said, you know, with my ancestors, some of them are African and some of them are Jamaican. So, you know, I have some that's in Barbados, Trinidad, you know, like I have family like that actually, you know, live in those places. That's kind of why I learned about it. But I kind of did research on my own, and you know, I took it all in. I do have talks with my grandmother about it because I want to learn more about it. But I kind of learned it on my own because I did research, and I kind of just like, you know, read it and took it all in. But yeah, kind of learned on my own, and talking to my parents as well. That's how I learned. That's how I learned. And then when I would do a dance, they would tell me to feel the music, and then once I would feel the music, that's when I felt like, you know, the culturalism, like, oh, okay, like this is what they do, this is what they did. So, you know, that's pretty much with that. So yeah, that concludes my video. I know you said 4 minutes, but I kind of did 13 because I kind of wanted to get everything out and put into this discussion because I wanted to get a good grade on it. But you know, that's the end of this discussion, and that's the end of this video. I thank you guys, and you guys have a great night.